Lamar's about to drop.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to start with music, but I got to announce it today. He just announced it today. It's all in my timeline.
Okay, so when do you have like exact date?
Yeah, it's May. Could be wrong. May 6th, May 5th, May 13th. I don't know. Throwing out dates, but it's somewhere in May 13th, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, that's I think what's it called, Mr. Moral and the Big Steppers, I think is the name of the album.
What are we expecting?
Well, honestly, I don't even want to have expectations for this.
That's I feel like the fairest.
That's the fairest, and like I like it because it's kind of short notice. It's not too far in advance. Just enough for you to start wondering and getting curious. Like, okay, what's about to come? Because like Kendrick hasn't dropped in 5 years. I think it's the anniversary today or yesterday where it's been 5 years since he last dropped. What was it? Damn
was his last project.
Yeah. So
you think Drake's gonna drop You think Drake's gonna drop an album the same day?
Nah,
probably not. But he'll probably drop something around like a little Lucy around the time. You know,
I feel like he wouldn't. I feel like he had his time. I don't think anyone interrupted it besides Kanye and shit. But I could be wrong. You know, I mean, you never know.
What if he does?
That'd be cool, but I don't think anyone's gonna be.
It's not gonna do better than
whenever
Drake.
Whenever Drake is gonna drop. Like, people are gonna listen, obviously, but Kendrick hasn't dropped in 5 years, and I'm like, and Kendrick, like, even on Damn, he felt like very inspiring. I know some people thought it was more like on the poppier side, and not like rap, but like
it was really good
because he experimented a little bit more. I don't know about you guys, but that's like my favorite Kendrick album.
Low key, it is too. I used to like the Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah,
that was my like album by him.
Yep.
And then when Damn came out, I didn't really like it at first, and then I just gave it more listens. And the more I listened to it, the more I fell in love with the album, and it got to a point where I could listen to the album without skipping it, singing it word by word.
And I fuck with it. I'm like, it grew on me too. I mean, the first time I listened, I picked out my set of songs I liked, you know. But as you get, you know, sometimes you just play something and it stays on that shuffle and it just plays like that same album, and then you just kind of like, oh shit. This song's tight. Oh, I keep skipping this one. Oh shit, I should have played this one. You know what I mean? It's just, it doesn't grasp your attention all at once sometimes, but I think we said the same thing about CLB. Like, that shit's growing on me right now, and that shit dropped months ago. You know what I mean?
I feel like CLB, it was hard for people to like it because Donda was dropping. So people didn't give it the attention. It was just like either you fuck with Kanye more or you fuck with Drake more at the time.
Well, it was like hyper focused on that.
But back to the Kendrick thing. Put it this way. I'm like a big Drake fan. If Kendrick put out an album and Drake put out like a little like 3-song EP, I feel like I would go and listen to the Kendrick album first because he hasn't put out music in
we've been waiting for a long time.
Yeah, so
I feel like it's going to be experimental.
I would kind of hope so, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right? You kind of,
he's just evolved.
It's 5 years.
He's
it's 5 years. You haven't
Yeah.
dropped anything. You better come with something new or something like.
Yeah. And what's also interesting is that like it's his last album with TDE.
Yeah.
Because after this, he's launching his own collective, I believe. I think he already signed his first artist too.
Yeah, Baby Keem.
No, Baby Keem, and then there's someone else, very, very like, not, I hate saying underground, but I guess that's what the hip hop term is. But yeah, I seen his IG the other day. I forgot his name, to be honest, but he had like 4,000 followers on Instagram or something. And I feel like Kendrick's going like the different approach. Like, he's not going through like the generic, like, come to this label and we'll form you and we'll put you under this person and like that type of shit. It's more like authentic. He's finding, you know what I mean, an authentic artist who's not really in the music industry. It's just about the creative side of it, if that makes sense.
Okay.
2 things real quick. Every time, like, this is a little off topic, but not off topic. Every time that artist has like one more album drop with their like label, I always think of Frank Ocean when he hit fucking.
Yeah, but I don't see that happening with TD. I feel like
where you just did you hear about what Frank Ocean did?
No.
Oh, you tell him us.
So pretty much Frank Ocean had a contract with a label where he had a. Like, you sign a deal, and it's probably, depending on the deal he signed, he probably signed a certain amount of albums.
That you owe the label.
The label before you're off your contracts. People sign for 6 albums. People sign for 10 albums, 5 albums. He had 1 album left on his contract.
Oh, and he just like bullshitted it?
Yeah,
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Right after that, he just dropped a fucking way better album.
Oh, okay.
Like
I didn't know about the better
like
album.
Independently, he dropped it independently off the hype of his last album. So he got the promotion from the label.
Okay.
And then everyone was hyper focused because like, oh, Frank Ocean
And
just
he came
dropped.
in.
And then they were
That's
like,
smart.
and they were like, okay, but then he dropped the next day, independent, just collected. You know,
So
Nice.
people looked at it like you fucked the label because you had
Yeah.
the album he gave the label was trash, and it's Frank Ocean. A lot of people love Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
The album he dropped the next day under Apple, it was under Apple, right?
I don't. To be honest, I thought it was independent, but I could be wrong.
It was independent, but Apple gave him the bag to put it on Apple.
Yeah,
I
I think it was like their exclusive drop, like
Yeah.
how they did the Drake CLB.
yeah,
thing too.
it was around that same time. But pretty much he gave Apple the better album the next day. But now I hear like a bunch of people on their last deal, on their last like part of the deal, and I'm like, bro, I feel like this is what people like are gonna start
They
doing.
should do, but then there's also those stories that the labels get to decide whether your project's like an EP or if it's an album. And then if it's an EP, then in the contract it says
You
that
still
doesn't
owe
count.
them. Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
so they're very, very tricky about that shit, and a lot of artists get stuck in that loop. We're not ready for you yet. You can't drop. Like, sorry, you're still under us. Like, I'm sorry.
And then they don't count the EPs as albums
That's
and
what
your
I said.
mixtapes as
Yeah.
albums. And
Yeah, but they still profit off of them.
yeah.
It's very tricky. That's why you have to really be aware of that. So, and that's like why people applaud Frank Ocean, because that's what the labels do. They just fuck you and shit.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
Oh, that was smart of him. I didn't know that he dropped his official independent album after. I only heard about his last album was trash.
Right.
And that's the last I ever heard of Frank Ocean.
Yeah, and so that's why I'm saying like all this to say that I don't see Kendrick going out like that, because I feel like he's had a good. I mean, I don't know these people, to be honest, but I feel like they have a good relationship.
Yeah.
I just feel like at one point he's just too big to be under anybody.
No, for sure. And then my second point on that was like you were talking about how Kendrick started his own label and he's signing artists and shit, and how he's doing it like different and organically.
Yeah,
I feel like if anyone, Kendrick should be able to do it best. Like you have TDE as a like role model or like a
Right.
mold to use. Like TDE signed a bunch of different artists that just gelled good together, and not this in a sense that these artists are gonna like be a group or anything. They're collective, and
right.
TDE. Bro, TDE is Schoolboy Q. It's Kendrick Lamar. It's a bunch
J-Rock.
of J-Rock. It's a bunch of different artists that are huge. So if anyone could start a label and make it succeed, it's definitely Kendrick. He's been there and he's seen it been done before. So
Yeah.
I feel like at first I wasn't like the biggest Kendrick fan, but he's grown on me a lot, and I feel like the whole label shift will go very like well for him.
Yeah, so applaud Kendrick Lamar. That shit's gonna be dope. I'm very excited, and I wonder what's gonna come. Hopefully it's some fucking fire shit, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I expect nothing less. You know, King Kenny.
Yep.
Top of the morning, top of the morning, top of the morning, top of the
I'm
morning.
gonna be pissed. I'm gonna be pissed if he does that shit on us, bro.
It's 12
I'm
top
gonna
of the
be
morning.
Wildin', bro. Shit. All right, what else we got?